Did you know that as we age, our body's natural thirst reflex weakens? This means that you may not feel thirsty even when your body naturally or desperately needs hydration. Staying ahead of your hydration needs is crucial for maintaining health and vitality, especially as you get older. Welcome to day 28 of our 90 Days to Cancer Resilience series. Today we are wrapping up our three-part series on hydration. In the first two parts, we discussed the importance of hydration, the types of water, and the best filter options for your water at home. Today we are going to cover how much water you should be drinking and the risks of overhydration and tips on how to remember to drink your water and what to do if you find yourself maybe going to the bathroom more than you would like. So, how much water should you drink? The Institute of Medicine recommends about 3.7 liters, which is 125 ounces of water per day for men, and about 2.7 liters or 91 ounces per day for women. Now, this includes all beverages and water-rich foods. So when you're thinking about how much water to drink, you might use the common 8 by 8 rule, which is drinking 8 glasses of water each day as a good starting point. But you have to remember that it can vary by individual. Some of the things that can influence our water needs are our physical activity level. So as our physical activity increases, our water needs increase because of the loss of sweat, our water in our system through sweat. If you are in a hot or humid climate, that can increase the amount of water that you need to stay hydrated. And your health conditions, such as if you have a fever, you're vomiting, or you have diarrhea, can also increase your water requirements. If you are pregnant and or breastfeeding, then the requirement for additional food intake, there's a requirement for additional water to stay hydrated or fluid to stay hydrated. Now, here are the signs that you have proper hydration. Your urine is light colored, and that's a good sign of proper hydration. You have regular bathroom breaks every 2 to 4 hours, indicates that you're drinking enough. Hey, when I was working, and I had meetings all day, I never had a chance to have any water or get a refill on my tea. And so then I would always joke that at least because I didn't have time to get water, I didn't have to go to the bathroom as much because I had no time for either of those. Another tip is if your lips are moist and your mouth is moist and you're not feeling excessively thirsty, then you probably are well hydrated. And here's some tips on what you can do to remember to drink your water. Especially if you are someone who is older and that thirst reflex has kind of dulled itself, then you might want to do this. But I know other people will that are monitoring their water and making sure that they drink enough water. So here's some things that you can do to monitor your water and make sure that you're remembering to drink your water. Now, the first one is that you can actually set a reminder. You can use your phone. You can have an app on your phone or just like your alarms on your phone. That's what I do, is I use my alarm app to set regular reminders throughout the day to sip water. You could, have Post-it notes all around your house and everywhere you go to remind yourself as well. You can also carry a water bottle with you all over the place. And you have your reusable water bottle with you. It's handy and a good way to remember to drink. I remember when we were going into the office at work, I had some of my colleagues that had huge water bottles, and they knew that that was 1 liter of water, and they would drink 2 of those. And some of the tips that they would have is that, if you want to make sure you drink 2 liters and then you forget, or which is that's your 8 cups or 64 ounces, they would take, in order to remember that they actually already had 1 or 2 of their waters that they would put an elastic band or some marker on their bottle. And there was one lady had a 2 cup water bottle, and so what she would do is put 4 elastic bands around her water bottle, and as she finished it, she would take 1 elastic band off. So that's another handy tip for you. Now, if you're having trouble to drink your water because you're not crazy about the taste of water, just going to say a couple of things about that. The first one is that if you make it a habit, you do start to acquire a taste for the water. And if that's not working for you, you can do things like infusing your water with some other herbs, fruits. You could put a splash of like lemon juice or lime juice in your water to make it more appealing. Please don't add any sugar though. Just the flavored water on its own might encourage you to drink more. And I know on our In the Kitchen last week, we did a detox water that had some lovely cucumber, lemon, and some mint in it, and it was so delicious. So try something like that if plain water just isn't cutting it for you. Create yourself a routine, incorporating more water. Maybe you make sure that you have a glass when you wake up in the morning. You can have it before your meals and before bed. Although, if you're doing it before bed, hopefully it's not enough that you're going to get up in the middle of the night. But just the message here is to create a routine for yourself. Make sure it's 30 minutes before the meal and not while you're drinking your meal or eating your meal. And I'm going to tell you why in a minute, so stay tuned. And you can track your intake using a journal or again using an app. And there's the old rubber band around the bottle is another way or some way to track it. Maybe you just have a paper that you make up a little spreadsheet, and you just tick off when you've had your water for the day, and maybe you have a week or the whole month, and you can see and track your progress. And that will help you to stay on top of your hydration goals. And the next and last tip I have today is to eat your water-rich foods. This is things like your cucumbers, watermelons, and we went through a whole list of different vegetables and fruit that can boost your hydration. And yes, that counts towards your hydration and liquid requirements. So you don't have to drink a ton of water if you're getting your liquids and your hydration from other types of sources. So let me ask you, how much water do you usually drink every day? And do you think it's enough? What about your favorite hydrating foods and beverages? Have you ever experienced um, um, frequent bathroom trips? That's one that I have had happen to me. So I just want to address that for a second because that's a question that happens, I guess, for me a little bit here and there. What happens if you're going to the bathroom more than every 2 hours? Is that a problem? And so it really depends, I guess, on yourself and something you need to just pay attention to. But let's say uh, if you're going to the bathroom, then there could be a few reasons. One common cause is simply that you're drinking too much water and you need to, um, or your herbal teas or whatever. And so your body can only process so much liquid at a time. And so you may need to cut back on how much water you're having at it and adjust your intake. But you could actually, if some of your herbal teas could have a diuretic in it, and that can help to increase your urine production. So some of the herbal teas that have things like dandelion or nettle in it may be contributing to those frequent bathroom breaks. And last but not least is that if you are experiencing high frequent urination, despite adjusting your liquid intake, it might be worth looking at that with a healthcare provider to rule out any underlying conditions like a urinary tract infection or diabetes. So just be very careful and know yourself. I know if I drink a lot of tea at once, then I'm running to the bathroom. So I just know when to and when not to have too much tea. And maybe that's too much information. I don't know. But there's also risks of overhydration that you need to be kind of mindful of. And if you are overhydrated, it's called water intoxication. That means you've had too much water too quickly. And what it's doing is it's diluting the sodium in your bloodstream. And symptoms of that are nausea, vomiting, headache, confusion, and then in severe cases, leading to seizures and coma. And so, to avoid overhydration, just watch your body signals, drink when you're thirsty, and in honesty, most people will naturally regulate their water intake well. Um, so these are things to watch out for. And I mentioned about when you're eating, if you can avoid drinking large amounts of water immediately before or during your meals, because it will dilute your stomach acid and impact your digestion. And so, if you can drink your water at least 30 minutes before eating or after eating, that will allow for better digestion. All right. And so, Kathy, any questions here today?
Okay, I
Okay,
do have
I
some
do have some
questions.
questions.
So if
Yeah.
I've
So if I
heard you
heard you
right,
right,
it's
it's
probably
probably
safe
safe
to have
to
a
have a
cup of
cup of
water
water
every
every
hour.
hour. Yes.
So
So
I know
I
you
know you
shared in
shared
an
in an
earlier
earlier
Deb
Dev
Energy
Energy
Bite
Bite
that
that
we
we
should
should
stop
stop
eating
eating
anything.
anything.
I
I
think it
think
was
it was
3 hours
3 hours
before
before
we were
we
going
were
to go
going
to
to go to
bed.
bed. Yeah, yes, that's the eating stuff. Yes.
Does that
Does that
apply to
apply to
liquids as
liquids as
well?
well?
Should we
Should we
not
not
have
have
any
any
water?
water?
I
I
mean,
mean,
I know
I
some
know some
people have
people
to
have to
take
take
pills
pills
before they
before
go
they
to
go to
bed. I
bed.
know
I know
that.
yeah.
That's not
That's
that
not
much
that much
water, but I
water, but
mean,
I mean,
like,
like,
we
we
shouldn't have
shouldn't have
anything other than
other
to
than to
take
take
medicine
medicine
with
with. So
3 hours before.
I would say for the water part, it's more about if you're drinking before bed, is that going to cause you to get up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom and, interrupt your sleep? Now, some people, and as we age, sometimes people will end up getting up to go to the bathroom, whether they have something or not. But I think that's an individual thing to decide whether or not you can have water before bed. And I know I've been in a situation where I like just ready for bed and I'm like, wow, I'm really parched. I think I really need some water. And that's okay. And likely, if you're really parched, it's going to go into your system instead of coming out through, going to the bathroom 10 times during the night. So I think that's an individual thing. And, you can also again, listen to your body in terms of, is having a glass of water every hour good for you or not? And, if you're having a lot of food, and I know like if you're doing like a juice detox or having juices with your meals, and I'm talking about like your cold pressed juices, not the ones that you buy that have sugar in them, uh, then you don't need to have as much liquid like water as well. Um, so I hope that helps. It's really individual.
Okay. I was just wondering, I know with the food you were saying that if your body has food to digest, it's not going to do other things that it needs to do at night.
Yeah.
So I was
Yeah, so
wondering if
that's the
water
food,
played
but
into that as well.
yeah. Well, I mean, you could think of the when you're releasing toxins from your body, water is a way to help to detoxify your body, right? And
Okay.
so the water actually can help with the detoxifying. So it's not going to have the same impact that food will have.
Gotcha.
All right.
Thank
Any
you.
other questions?
No, that's it for me today.
Awesome. That's great. I love your questions. They're always so. All right. So we will just wrap it up. Today we were discussing how much water you should drink, the risks of overhydration, what to do if you go to the bathroom too frequently, and tips on how to remember that you need to drink your water if that's something that you're concerned about, and the importance of when you drink your water, especially for digestion. So stay hydrated. It's very critical for your overall health and well-being. But the good thing is, most of us are really can do it naturally. And so stay with tune. We will be back again tomorrow for more on our cancer resilience series. And stay healthy and stay resilient.